there's a version of this AB 100 that will do 60 knots. That's right, this is a 100-foot, 1-inch boat that will do 60 knots. It is remarkable, and the performance is only the start of the cool stuff on board this boat. And in this video, I'm going to give you a full tour. Crew space, master cabin, engine room, the works. So come with me and let's enjoy it. I'm Jack Haines, welcome to YachtBuyer. Before we get into it though, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you'll never miss another tour like this one. Before we get onto this boat's extraordinary performance, let's start the tour. And we're going to start the tour down here because there's some really cool stuff going on. Firstly, it's quite obviously a living space. You've got seating here, a nice place to sit and watch what's going on in the water. Great that it's, facing out, you're close to the waterline, in touch with the elements. They've also put in storage on either side, which is the perfect size to swallow a pair of sea bobs. And as well as this lovely big passerelle, which extends out from the top step on this side, you've got a separate ladder that drops down to give you a nice entrance into the water. But the coolest feature of all is the way they stow the tender. The tender garage is there and it works in two parts. This section lifts up, and then this entire piece of deck I'm standing on, there's a break here, there's a break there, this all lifts up, and then the tender slides down into the water and you can recover it the same way. The theatre that happens when this thing drops its tender out the back, it is proper Thunderbirds. It's really cool, and it is only the beginning of the cool stuff on board this boat. Check out the cockpit. When the passerelle is out, there's only access up the starboard side of the transom, and that brings you into what is actually a really nice size cockpit. And one of the things about this boat is how sleek its profile is, and part of that is to this stubby little overhang I've got here. However, they've thought people are going to want some shade back there, which is entirely true. So you can see they've got this great canopy system, these carbon fibre poles that stretch out a long way. So this huge dining table here in the cockpit, this is really your main outdoor dining space, is beautifully shaded in the heat of the day. When you're having lunch, this is the place you're going to want to be. But there is still plenty of space forward of that for, as you can see, some loose furniture. There's a sink under that hatch there, and then on this side, it's not a sink, it's somewhere to drive the boat from. Now, this is on triple jets. I'm going to explain all about the way this thing handles and performs when we get to the helm. But back here, you've got joystick for the triple jet drives, plus a repeater for the bow thrusters. So if you're mooring stern to, this is where you're going to want to be. There's a stand here as well. You don't have to hold this up and drive the boat. But yeah, if you're going to be in the med environment or somewhere where you're mooring stern to, you're going to want this feature. Final thing is boarding gates on both sides in the cockpit. So if you're next to a high key side, you don't have to clamber up from the bathing platform. And before we go up to the flybridge, let's go and check out the foredeck. The helm station is central, so that's nice. It means whichever side to you are, you can come out on that side of the deck. And there's another clever feature here as well. The crew space is right forward on this yacht. They have access internally, we're going to see that later on, but they also have, by this sliding door, direct access from the deck, meaning they can close off the internal door, so it's private for guests, but they can still get in and out of the cabin. It's very nicely integrated into this coaming here as well. And then we arrive at another lovely, big, sunny socialising space. This is where the sun worshippers will live, as you can see from this massive sunpad. But like back there are spots all around here where you can put poles and have a canopy if you do want some shade. And look, they don't want to compromise the look of this thing in any way, so they've made this seating all very low. It's very much recline rather than sit and dine, but you have got somewhere to put some snacks and some drinks if you want, and then right forward you can just lay out on this totally flat section of sunpad. It's nice up here, and the view back over that windscreen is, yeah, pretty cool. Moving forward, this is predominantly going to be a crew area really. You've got the mooring gear, split anchor hatches, this lifts up and you've got the windlass down there. You can see the chain running through the deck. You've also got the controls for the anchor, wash down, all of that sort of thing. Owner, guests, not going to do much up here. They're going to be enjoying life there, and probably up on the sun deck too. So let's head there. Now the sun deck, in comparison to say the Mangusta 104 Rev, isn't quite as good, to be honest. That feels like much more of a flybridge. This really is a sun deck. Loads more sunbathing space back here, that really low slung spoiler where you've got the navigation equipment, the satellites, although we've got Starlink down there, so those domes probably really aren't doing anything anymore. You've got the table here as well. I just feel like it could do with brightening up a little bit up here. This is very hard wearing, but it's not as nice as a bit of wood on the table, is it? There's no wet bar. There is a fridge down there underneath that sofa. And you'll be wondering what these boxes are. That's the life raft. It's got its own cover, rather neat. And then this is essentially just a control station. It's a repeater of the one we saw down in the cockpit. You've got the jet drive thruster, you've got a raymarine control, and that's about it really. It is not for driving at speed, it's for manoeuvring around. When you want really good vision, you've got the joystick control, and actually you can see both ends of the boat really easy from here. Additionally, as an option, you can have a flybridge helm. So this is obviously all just more sunbathing space, though there is some storage underneath. But if this were my AB 100, if I was speccing it myself, maybe one day, like and subscribe, please help me out. I want to be driving from up here, 50 knots, sitting in the middle, 2,000 horsepower, 4,000, 6,000 horsepower underneath my hand, looking down over that bow. Yeah, I think I'll go for that. Right, let's head inside. I'm not sure you ever get tired of the Star Trek door effect, but they do have function as well. It's not just about looking cool. If the crew are coming in with their hands full, then those opening automatically, extra wide like that, is very cool indeed. And talking to the crew, they've got all their bits nicely lined up on either side here when you first come into this area. So glassware over there, there's a champagne cooler over there. And something that's quite important to know about AB Yachts is they consider themselves a boutique builder. They do not build boats in great numbers, but they are very customizable. You know, and it's not just things like colours. This boat's got this beautiful blue marble top. If you wanted totally different, a different table, different chairs, a different layout, you can have it. It is very much about personal taste and customization. If you wanted the sofas there, you could have that. Dining table there, you can have that. Colours, furniture, it's all up to you. But this works quite well because here, where you're sitting, lounging on these lovely sofas, you're by the largest part of the windows, and you'll see from the profile these are very deep, and you really feel the benefit in here, not only through natural light coming in, but of course the views, even when you're sitting down, are really good as well. And the sofa's well positioned here because on this boat they've got the television mounted within this section, and when it's up it also works as a bit of a partition to separate you off from the helm station. And that is a very key part of this area. This is where you drive the boat from, and that's something we've got to talk about. Let's have a look at the helm. I like boats like this, like Pershing, where they make the driving experience just standing in front of the helm feel like a real event. You've got these 4 screens upright right in front of you. If you are cracking along on a 100-foot yacht doing 50 knots, you want to be able to see everything really clearly, and that's important. So this position is great. These 3 wonderful, fully adjustable helm chairs, they bolster, you can sit on them. They've got footrests, you've got switches so you can rise them up, move them forward, get really comfortable. It's a jet drive, so you do get a steering wheel, but of course you get the joystick down here as well, and these stubby little throttles, they're in control of 6,000 horsepower. Now this is almost the AB Yachts 100 Lite, this has only got triple 2000s, and it'll top out at 50 knots. You can have this with triple 2,600 horsepower engines. That will do 60 knots. To put that in perspective, we tested the Lamborghini yacht. That'll also do about 60 knots. This is 100 foot long, that's 60 foot long. It is just crazy, and the cruising is pretty crazy as well. It'll cruise easily at 40, 45 knots, 35 knots, it'll do 400 nautical miles. I'm sorry, I'm just bombarding you with numbers, but it's hard to get your head around the size of this boat and its capability. But not only that, because it's got triple jets, it's only got a 1.3 metre draft, so you can quite literally park this 100-footer on the sandbar. They have a photo of it. We'll cut it in now so you can see. It's absolutely remarkable. In terms of the jet drives themselves, you've got 3. The outer ones steer it, and there's a middle booster that only kicks in at 1,000 RPM. So when you're doing the slow speed stuff, you're using the joystick, and that's just using those outer ones to pivot the boat however you want to. You've got the bow thruster as well, which will help with keeping the bow in check. But for such a powerful boat, they've kept the controls very simple. Lovely big screens, a few switches down here. But yeah, AB, we've got to come and see a trial one. Let's come and visit you in Italy, eh? Right, where to next? Accommodation. I'm going to preface this accommodation section because we have tours of both the 120 and the 80 on the channel, and the feedback from those was generally owners do not spend much time sleeping on these things. These are big, fast day boats that happen to have lots of cabins and a nice crew space. We're going to go to all of that in a moment. The crew area is through there, and it's a bit of a surprise, I think, for a boat of this style. But obviously we've got the guest accommodation down here as well. 4 cabins, 2 doubles, 2 twins, all with their own bathrooms. And we're going to start forward with the VIP. Now in this layout, the galley is just the other side of that bulkhead, and that compromises the space in this VIP because it's sharing its floor plan with the kitchen. So it's definitely smaller than you might expect on a 100-foot yacht. You've still got a nice walk around bed, however. You have got a patch of hull window and an opening port in every cabin. You can get natural ventilation, but of course it's air conditioned throughout as well. Storage is mainly over on that side. There's knee level stuff down by the bed there. There's a big hang locker behind the bathroom door. And as I said, it has got a nice private ensuite. So it's a lovely private cabin, just maybe not as big as you'd find on another 100-foot boat of this style. But there are 3 more to enjoy down there. So let's head amidships. Before we get to the owner's cabin, let's have a look at the twins. They are mostly identical, so I'm going to pop here into the portside one because the difference is this one has got a Pullman. If you don't know what a Pullman is, it's boat speak for a bunk bed. So this just, I'm not going to put it right down, but you can see there's another bunk here that you can drop down and use occasionally. But there's just 2 of you, and you can put it away, and you've got 2 nice twin berths. And throughout this accommodation, every single cabin has got a little iPad here, and from here you can control the AV, the blinds, the air conditioning, and even the lights. So I can do all the lights, including the reading lights. Now, in doing this function, you can't actually control these from the switches, which is a bit annoying if you just want to pop that on at night. However, it is nice to have all of your controls in one place and individual to each cabin. And the nice thing about these twins is that they've got a good slice of hull window, and look at the headlights in here. I'm 6 foot tall and there's still plenty of space above my head. There's storage behind the door here. Lovely private bathroom as well. I like how they've got a sort of curved mirror effect just to try and help amplify the space in there. But really the star of the show down here when it comes to accommodation, the owner's cabin. Now the VIP may feel a bit pokey, but that is not an issue with the owner's cabin. This explodes into the full beam of the boat, and it's a lovely, lovely space this. Look at the amount of room around this huge bed. Space up there for a really large television mounted up on the wall, the biggest portion of hull window down here. But even here, they've got a separate section that you can open up. People always say, oh, you don't need fresh air, everyone's going to use air conditioning. I don't know, on a really breezy day, it is nice not to be having the air conditioning on the entire time. A, it dries you out, B, it's quite noisy. You can probably hear it on the mic now. And then aft, bearing in mind, we've got that engine room through there with all that firepower in it. You've got the bathroom and a walk-in wardrobe behind the bed. Quite clever because it acts as another form of insulation. It's a big space as well. I mean, this is split with the walk-in wardrobe, but you've still got a lovely big shower over there with a huge rain shower head. There's inboard space for twin sinks with loads of storage underneath. This has its own window as well. If anything, even more important in here, so you can vent it out easily when you've had a shower and let the steam out. It's a lovely space, even if the owner might never actually sleep on board. Right, before we head through there to the engine room, let's go and look at that crew space. Right, the crew space. I think this galley is surprisingly big and nice for a boat of this style. I like how it's aligned right under the windows here. So, okay, you're having to stoop down to get the view, but Chef is getting a lot of natural light. And again, I'm getting boring now, but yeah, there's ventilation right here where you're going to be cooking, but there is also an extraction overhead, oven and microwave behind, lovely big fridge freezer, American style fridge freezer too, and even more cooling space down there. There's a dishwasher as well, lots of storage. So yeah, I think really for a boat, as I've already said, may not be lived on board for long periods of time, you've still got a decent galley because people are still going to want to eat good food when they're out on this for the day. Right forward, it then connects to the crew's living space. Got the mess here where they can sit around and have their food because they're connected to the galley as well themselves, which is quite useful. And then 2 screens up here, the TV, which can also show the boat's cameras, but it's also somewhere they can watch TV. And then they've got a control screen as well, where they have the sort of control they have up at the helm. But again, all systems can be monitored and controlled from down here. And then we mentioned on deck, they have that separate staircase. So if that door's closed, that sliding door, they can still get in and out really easily up onto deck through that staircase behind the camera. And right forward, 2 bunk cabins. We're allowed into one of them, which they've tied up for us. The crew are on board. But you can see you've got a pair of bunks in each one and a separate bathroom, which is large enough to have a separate shower cubicle as well. Not too bad. Right, engine room. There's split engine room access on this boat, 2 hatches in the cockpit. We're going to drop down this starboard one. I always think, even on a boat this size, when you've got 3 engines involved, it's going to be absolute carnage down here in the engine room. But as you can see, despite having this overhead, which is intrusion from the tender garage, it's really pretty easy to get around these 3 MAN V12 2000 horsepower engines. You've got the middle one here that's attached to the booster jet. That one doesn't move, it's the 2 outer ones that are manoeuvring to steer the boat. But yeah, despite having 3 of these great big lumps, you can get around them okay. Yes, you're stooping as you move around, but there's walkways between them, very easy to inspect by eye. Get down to the back of the engine room as well, because there is a generator down there. There's one there as well, but they've got one tucked back there. Seakeeper down there for stabilisation. That's really aimed at working when the boat's stationary. It's not really going to help when you're on the move, certainly when you're cruising at 35 knots. They've also got the washer dryer down here, or a washer dryer. I suspect there's one forward in the crew space as well, but they've got the washer dryer here. You've got the engineer's toolkit down here too. It's really well arranged. Despite the amount of machinery in here, it is pretty easy to get to all of the major components inside this engine room. What I like about this boat is that they talk about it being a performance machine, but that is much more than just a bit of marketing spiel. This is a genuine performance boat, a 100-foot yacht that will charge along at the sort of speed that would embarrass 25-foot so-called sports boats. But it's not just about the impressive engineering and getting something this big to move along that quickly. It's the focus on the stuff you do when the boat's stationary, being able to go into the shallows on something this big, the work they've put into the engineering of the tender space and the toys down here. It is a seriously cool machine. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and whether you go for this or a Pershing if you're in the market. Thank you very much for watching that tour of the AB Yachts 100. I hope you enjoyed it. Give us a little like if you did. And if you'd like to watch our tour of its big sister Wraith, the AB 120, I'll put that up there. One of its rivals, the Mangusta 104 Rev Jackpot, we've got a tour of that there. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can do that by clicking up here. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer.